I'm quite frightened right now. I am a recovering agoraphobe. I was just outside because I've been planning to create a YouTube video for quite some time. I just want to try it out. YouTube is something that's near and dear to me, but I also recognize that it's kind of dominating my life in a way that makes me feel bad about myself. So I wanted to shift my relationship with YouTube, and I think deep down, being a YouTube creator is something I always wanted to try, but never thought that I was interesting enough or good enough to do. So I have been planning to create a YouTube video for a couple weeks. I would do SMART goals, so I'd be like, well, a week's time is plenty to just get a simple video out, I'm not aiming for anything perfect. And then that week would roll around, I don't have anything to show for it. Forget about that goal. Get a few other things done, and then realize, no, it's creating a YouTube video is still a goal of mine I want to do. I'm like, okay, next Friday. And then next Friday rolls around. Today's Thursday, so I just want to have footage of me doing something for when Friday comes around, and I'm going to edit a video. I'm anxious right now because, one, I'm trying to do a YouTube video, and that overwhelms me for some reason. I don't know why, but most things have overwhelmed me, so it's not shocking. So I went outside to record inspiration. My idea was just to find inspiration outside, and then go through my art process of how I turn that inspiration into art. Maybe like realism. But I went out there, and the dogs started barking at me. I live, actually, can I show you that? Here we go, 1 second. I live across the street from some cows. I love them. I love staring at them. Look at the bull. But the dogs are barking at me, and that sends my body into fight or flight mode. And I try to avoid that as much as possible. My body's already so stressed. Also, I live on the highway. If you can hear cars going by. The sounds of cars going by also sends my body into fight or flight mode, and it can be something that's hard for me to calm down from. But I'm calm right now, just burning. I didn't do what I planned to do, but I can make this work. I don't know what the audio's like. My voice is weird right now, but that's okay. I'm safe. And it's pretty cool that I tried to go out there, and my idea is smart. And one day, I will find the perfect inspiration out there, and I will show you. Show myself what letting your experiences happen to you, to not shut out the world. That's my goal. I have lived my life so detached from myself, from everyone else, from my sensory experiences, like pain, posture. I didn't feel real. No one felt real. I felt like a ghost, or maybe inhuman in some way. I couldn't accept that other people existed outside of me. But there was no me, and I would associate me with my thoughts, and my thoughts are so conflicting and so different, just like everyone. We all have conflicting thoughts and feelings and different sides to us, but because mine would basically yell at each other, confused me. Something I realized, and something that propelled me to make a goal about YouTube, as well as just wanting to redirect my passion for YouTube in a more productive way. The other reason is that I realize that I want to help people. I want to feel helpful. I hate selling art. Which is so funny, isn't it? I sure do. It makes me feel really bad. I don't like to make art to sell. All I want to do is just give my art away to the people who value it enough to want it in their homes. That sounds like... that probably sounds like... corny, maybe? Like I'm not being genuine? Like, oh, I'm such a good guy. No. I don't even think that I'm necessarily a good guy. What I'm doing by so desperately wanting to help people is because those people outside of me, if I help them, then that makes me valuable. Because my art alone does not make me feel valuable. I don't know how to word that just quite yet, but I'll get there. Therapy. I'll get therapy. Therapy has been off and on with in the cards of me. I've been mostly doing this journey completely alone as a recovering agoraphobe. Beep beep. And it's so funny how I want to make YouTube videos because I want to help people. But this entire video has been completely about me. Per usual. I tend to do that. I tend to make everything about me. That's kind of what anxiety is, isn't it? It's not bad, though. And by that's what anxiety is, isn't it? I mean that anxiety is a defense mechanism for ourselves. We see the signs and we want to protect us. Well, our brains want to protect us, and so it'll send us into fight or flight mode, and that is anxiety. And it is truly miserable when your brain is non-stop feeling as though you are in danger your brain is basically poisoning you with chemicals and tensing your entire body. Poisoning is a strong word, but like, I couldn't leave. I couldn't go into the grocery store that I have been going to for the past 2 decades. I couldn't enter that store, let alone any other store, of course, obviously. If there was a chance of me being able to enter a grocery store, it would be that one. But I couldn't even do that because I was so scared. I felt like a gun was pressed up against my head. I used to think that anxiety was my anxious thoughts. But then at some point, I mean, I've always been very anxious, but at some point, I didn't even have any anxious thoughts anymore. I would just be completely detached, but my body would still treat the situation as though it was life and death. Life or death. Life and death. There was no options. It was life. It was death. And so I couldn't even leave the house, obviously. At some points I couldn't leave my room, venture into the other parts of the house. I don't know why. There was no thoughts in my head. I was just terrified. It's hard to do anything. I couldn't get help. No phone calls. I'm mortified by strangers, or at least I was. I'm trying to reframe that. I want to love strangers. Instead of worrying about how much strangers hate me, or may think that I'm weird or disgusting. Instead, I think about how that stranger is a human just like me, and as humans, there's something quite beautiful about us. Not always, no. No, not always. But I think that there is good in every person that you can meet now. I'm freehanding this. It's not ideal. I'm not using any references. It's just my brain, and it shows. That's okay. I believe the end result. I can do something with this. It's been sort of out of focus, isn't it? Does that look cool? Yeah, why not? I have my phone over here. I have a photo from Pixabay. I love Pixabay. Because, the users just upload commercial-free photos, illustrations, if you're into that. And it is where I find most of my real life inspiration. Actually, let's see if I can show you. My phone. That's my earplug. I guess let me. Don't worry, we'll get there. Oh, I get hiccups. Well, good lord, Leon. Okay, there you go. Speaking of the earplug, I think I'm a very sensitive individual. And so that I've realized how much earplugs mean to me. Currently I have no earplugs in, but pretty much constantly 24/7 I always have something closing my ears off from the world. I don't want that to be always the case, but it's just so hard. Like even right now, I have a ferret, and the sounds that she makes with her claws against plastic, it sends me into overwhelm pretty quickly. It's bad. So I actually... Oh. So a day has passed. I'm feeling much calmer. I've thought about, while I was editing yesterday's footage, I was thinking about what I wanted from YouTube. Originally, I was doing all this research about how to, make an engaging video. Because that's just kind of the point, isn't it, of YouTube, of all YouTubers, it seems. People watch YouTube videos mostly for entertainment. And do not get me wrong, I'm not placing a judgment on the people who do, and that's something that maybe one day I can do as well. But ultimately that's not my goal, and that's not how I want to help people. Being entertained by people on YouTube, a lot of people have that covered. I know they have it covered because I personally have been through all sorts of different creators who do all sorts of different entertaining things. From actual comedians to just some random dude crushing up glass and making snow. What are those things? Snow? Whatever. You get the point. What I want to do, I think, is create a calm environment. My voice is not naturally like this. I'm quite energetic, high-pitched, loud, usually. But as I was editing yesterday, I realized how much I appreciated my slower paced speaking. Albeit, I was speaking that way because I was so scared. Whenever I'm scared, I tend to go slower. Well, that's not necessarily true. Sometimes I pick up the pace and go into hyper mode whenever I'm scared. But I was overwhelmed. Yeah, overwhelmed is the word I'm searching for. But speaking in a slower, more thoughtful manner. And on that subject, speaking and my voice have been something that has been an insecurity of mine for a very long time. For all the reasons I just said my voice was. And I think taking the time to love my voice, to not place a judgment on my previous voice, but know that for myself, I want to speak more thoughtfully, with less anxiety. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate randomly blurred, like people who randomly blurt out whatever they're thinking. I really love talking to people who are on similar wavelengths as me. So basically just non-stop yap, 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 yap. I love it. I love whenever I connect to someone and they don't have that shame built into them, like how I often don't, to know when to stop talking. Whenever I meet someone who doesn't know how to shut up, I'm like, okay, I'm safe. You are like me. So I basically, yeah, I yap nonstop. That's my thing. So why have I not been a YouTuber? Ha ha ha. Sounds like my calling, because all they do is yap, am I right? Okay. So I'm not actually trying to be entertaining. What I want to do is spread kindness and love. And I want to create a calm space, of course, to help others. But right now, I think I really need to help myself too. I think that out of focus. Let's see what I can do. Oh wow, look at that. Ooh, crisp. Well, I think it's crisp actually. No, oh, there. Don't worry about these lines up here. It looks, I know this eye is definitely like the wonkiest part of the art so far. But let's trust the process, alright? It'll be fine. And I say that not out of sense of like false confidence of like, oh, I made a mistake. How embarrassing. Don't worry guys, I'll fix it. Like, one thing about pyrography, I think I want to make a whole video about this medium. But it is that mistakes are a part of the process. You can aim to not make mistakes, but they're going to happen. Pyrography has taught me the art of turning mistakes into, as Bob Ross once said, happy little accidents. I hear a plane. I love planes. I'm looking up and seeing if I can spot them. Actually, let's see if I can show you. There's a bull. Okay. Can I just... Look at that bright blue sky. It is so blue. You can even see how blue it is through my messy, messy window. Oh. Now how do I get this back? Okay guys, one moment. This is very relaxing, I'm sure of it. I need to set down the burning hot tool. Probably. Okay. There. Lovely. I love how every single time I try to show you guys something, you guys get a new neat angle once I try to put it back. Water. I could used to never appreciate the taste of water. And I'm going to partially say that's probably because I never brushed my teeth, and that probably, you know, affects the flavor profile of water. If you have a dirty mouth, you want the chemicals of soda to sort of, you know, mask that. I feel like water sort of amplifies what you got going on in there. But yes, water. Basically, the first step I took to self-improvement long ago was stopping how much soda I drank. It was mostly from a financial and guilt sort of place. I cut back to 3 cans of soda a day instead of like, um, 6. Basically, only drinking soda, and never drinking water. Whenever I was little, the only time I drank water is maybe in a school fountain if I got super, super thirsty. But I would drink like almost a liter of Sam's Cola every single day. It was Sam's Cola and nothing else. I don't know if you can hear the lovely little birds outside chirping. I don't know if you can hear the cows, but they're starting to move. I love the sensation of drinking water. I've got it down to an art, my water art. I like to have a little bit of ice in my big 30-ounce container water bottle. There's like a thermos, maybe? It's insulated, so once you put ice inside, it stays like that for hours and hours on end. So that means if you go to bed and you have your ice water that's not too cold, not too much ice, just a little bit of ice, and then in the morning when you wake up, or if you wake up in the middle of the night and you want to grab a swig, it's just so refreshing and cold. It's amazing. I highly recommend getting like those insulated canteens. Canteen. My canteen. That's the word. God. Yeah, I graduated high school. I don't know if you can tell. I'm a little bit of a genius, I personally like to think. Really flexing that diploma that I didn't even walk for. It was sent in the mail to me. Because of the agoraphobia. I say agoraphobia just to put a word to the suffering. I think, especially in this, I can't speak for other places in the world, but in the society that I live in, that you may or may not live in, probably do, if it reached you, but it's just me making assumptions. But, we really like to put labels onto everything, including illnesses and mental health issues. And it's because doctors are able to treat a larger demographic when you have a illness that that they do like studies on, and like these people, like all these people are showing similar symptoms. I'm not a doctor, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but basically what I'm trying to say is that my agoraphobia is just a word. That's all I'm trying to say here. And it's what I think I can most conveniently convey my life experience to you in a way that you can comprehend my perception of reality. Speaking of reality, I'm just going to spew my thoughts here. one of the biggest realizations that I've had recently, and the one that's helped. Another plane is going by. I just love planes. I chose a busy part of the day to record a video, huh? This is a flower. Bud. Blossom. Bud. Blossom? Bud. Blossom. Flower? Bud. My working memory is so good, you guys won't even believe it. What was I talking about? There was a plane, I was busy. Water. Oh, reality. Oh my god, I got there. Oh, there's so many vehicles. That one was a bright, brilliant, like, blue truck that's like has hydraulics, and it was like extended up on these big wheels. It was really pretty. There are so many cars. Maybe I should record this and once it's not 3 p.m. in the day. I was saying that reality, the biggest thing for my anxiety is that I could realize that. Sorry, I'm trying to see how this is looking. Imagine you have anxiety just like me, and you're like, well, spit it out. Like, what has helped you with your anxiety, man? And I am kind of stalling because I do not know. I basically went through a really, really hard time in order to find this sort of light. But a realization that has helped me, maybe it's not the biggest thing, maybe there's other things, that's factoring in, but something I realized is that my thoughts are not me. And that our thoughts are not reality. And I don't think that is something that I can properly teach. I'm not equipped to dig into that. The irony of my main mission statement that I've been spouting over and over, I don't even have. Okay, there we go. Should I record this right now? Yeah, why not? I wanted to upload today. I'm uploading this today. I have to burn right now. So yes, there are cars in the background, but they are just a part of my experience, and now they will be a part of yours too. Which again, further points to the fact that this has been all about me. I'm just talking about myself. I have given no advice. I have basically told you, hey, there's cars in the background. You're just gonna have to deal, okay? Because clearly I'm making this video for me. I gotta turn on this music. I don't know if anyone's like me, but I get overwhelmed by music. I'm sure everyone's like that. But even like the most, sometimes I cannot handle the most calming piano, jazz music. It's too much. I'm starting to get that way. I'm always on the lookout whenever my body feels like it's going to go rogue on me. I'm very sensitive, and I just gotta deal with that and be proactive. I hope that if someone is listening all the way until now, I hope that I've provided you some value, some insight of some sort, even if into the life of a agoraphobe and what he thinks and feels. Or maybe you're seeing some of my process and picking up on how you can apply that to your practice in wood burning. I have been quite thoughtlessly doing all of this. Carelessly. I've been carelessly doing this. I'm not putting too much thought into each stroke. Not intentionally, it's because I'm focused on speaking. I was actually really shocked playing back the footage and being like, wow, I can actually carry out full-on conversation topics and wood burn at the same time. Like, I'm making all of these small little cognitive decisions without me even truly recognizing them. Like, I just do whatever feels right. And don't think too hard about it. It's hard to think too hard about it when you're also trying to talk. I feel like this angle is getting a good glare. Let's see. I think it's the light from the window. I kind of know, logically, that I probably shouldn't post this video, because the algorithm seems to be pretty kind to people who are doing their first uploads, you know? And I know that this video is not the right cup of tea for most everyone. Not out of, thinking that I'm doing poorly, but out of, this is very slow paced. I'm just talking about myself, which isn't bad. It's just what I've done, and I'm not really providing any information. I'm just burning, and if someone's listening to this, then you're just listening. I'm just mostly talking to myself. I can't imagine anyone actually listening. Well, I can imagine someone listening, but there are few who value what I think or say. enough without having some sort of prior history of me. If that makes sense. But other than that, I can't really imagine anyone listening. But anyway, in either case, I'm okay with that. And this might not be good, or my quote-unquote algorithm, but to anyone who did find value in this video, if someone actually did listen this far in, then they're probably the type of people I want to talk to. But also, if you have the patience to sit through all of this, then I think that you are beyond me in terms of finding peace. Maybe that is presumptuous of me. But I think it takes a special type of person to, especially nowadays, these kids and their TikToks and whatnots. And so if you have sat this far through, then my many thanks. I cannot believe you're real. If you did make it this far, I do kind of want to know that you did. Just because that would totally warp my worldview right now, my reality. Because I just simply cannot imagine it. I cannot really fathom. You can tell I'm thinking a lot because of my art. Because I stopped yapping. Started to get into yap mode last clip. The reason why that clip ended is because I ran out of memory. I meant to say that when I started this one, but I guess I immediately jumped into something. I feel like these leaves are turning out much nicer than these ones. But why do these ones have to be nicer, you know? They're just different. They look different. That's not wrong. Now, showing you my process. And I think that if you are listening right now, you probably think that the way that I'm reframing that stuff makes a lot of sense, and it's probably like, good for you. But if the me who I was last year was listening to what I just said, he would be scoffing and laughing in my face like, wow, what? Like, you oblivious fool. You are faking it. There's no way. Like, I don't know how to explain this yet in words. But he would not. It's just, I repeat, like, that seems very, like, self-help, like, corny, I guess. And he was quite judgmental about corny. more judgmental about how just telling yourself differently about believing something and then telling yourself, you know what, maybe look at it differently. Maybe you can see the positives. Like, that doesn't seem like that could work. Like, I'm just being silly. I'm just acting silly. Turns out it is a valid method to reframe, recenter yourself. Because those are my thoughts, as I was trying to touch on earlier. I will talk about my relationship with thoughts one day, especially as a recovering agoraphobe. But basically, what was I saying? Ow. What was I saying? Oh, it was gonna be something really cool too. Something about thoughts. Something that I wanted to say about thoughts that I didn't earlier. What could it have been? There's a fly. I don't know if anyone is like me, but flies overwhelm me so much. It's bad. They make me go into shutdown. Meltdown mode. Oh. Oops. I just made a little burn mark on my wood. I was talking about reframing things in your mind. What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say the reframing thing. I realize thoughts are not reality. So we think our thoughts are us. Oh, okay, I'm saying we. Let's reframe this. I thought that my thoughts were me. And I would have all sorts of thoughts, and they all seemed quite logical to me. I don't want to get into my agoric thoughts just yet. But my reality would be much different than the actual reality of what was unfolding in front of me, my sensory experiences. Even if no one was pointing a gun at me, it felt like a gun was being pointed at me, you know? And I'm talking more metaphorically speaking. Like, I didn't have anxious thoughts that, like, someone was going to shoot me. That wasn't really, well, I mean, if you live in America, I mean, it's par for the course, right? At least a little. But, yeah, by reframing things and trying to look at the objective reality, like, these two leaves, they're just leaves on burned onto wood, and they're both burned by me, so they actually look quite similar, not jarringly different, even though I prefer these ones. These ones still do their purpose. They look like leaves. So that's basically the type of reframing I try to do. I try to ground myself. And, like, there's so many little concepts I just couldn't grasp. And I realized that I was feeling a lot of shame now that everything started to fall into place and started to understand things that I just couldn't handle, like the whole positive thinking and me thinking that's cringe and whatever. Now that I'm starting to grasp some simple concepts, it's just, I'd be like, why was I so dumb, you know? I couldn't even grasp, like, simply, like, what confidence meant. It's like I could logically understand confidence, but I simply could not understand how it felt and what it meant. Really? could see it in others, but I couldn't understand how that would even work for myself. Half of it is because I was so unaware. Half of it was because I actually... Man, I wish that was me. A bunch of people on motorcycles driving by. Oh, wow. Look at them go. Oh, I want to drive a motorcycle so bad, guys. Like with a crew. This is so fun. Go hiking together. What other things people do on bikes? But, I couldn't grasp these concepts, and I thought that like it was because I was so broken, and not smart enough, maybe, in a way. Like, I don't think that was exactly what was going through my head, but like, I felt upset with myself. Not that I was too dumb or anything. Like, that's how I would have felt previously, but now I was kind of just like more like, why? Why couldn't I grasp those thoughts? I was disappointed at myself. And then I realized that they're actually quite hard to grasp. Or maybe they're not hard to grasp, but they were hard for me to grasp with my background and upbringing and coping mechanisms in my life. And they're simple, but sometimes something so simple can be so hard to grasp because it's so simple and you overthink things. And if you are anxious like me, you'll get that something so simple can become... that something so simple can become so complicated because of our thoughts. Yippee! So, I'm gonna start going into overdrive mode. Initiating overdrive mode. I have cranked up the heat to its highest setting. I don't think we'll see a glow. Oh, yes you can. I love glowing tips. This thing is probably 700 degrees or so. It wouldn't feel good in your skin. That's probably, if I was to make a professional guess. What I'm doing now is doing the outline. Sometimes I create this outline and then I go back and then it's just, I go over it so there's no outline. But I like to give myself the option so that if I think the art would be better by leaving a space of it's a Friday afternoon. Not the most ideal recording time, I've come to learn. People are always talking about in their videos like, oh, please excuse the noise. I didn't mean to make it sound like that. I mean, it's not, but it sounds like I'm mocking them. That's not what I was trying to do, but they would, like, and I just wouldn't even, like, I don't care. I feel like audio is really important to a lot of people. And it is for me too. And that I probably would hate the dogs barking in the background that is happening right now if I was an outsider. But generally speaking, the audio, it's not... I can deal with a little AC noise or a lawnmower in the background. Sometimes people's entitlement to the free videos and like content that people create online, it's kind of interesting. They have a different perspective on reality than I do, that's for sure. it's not wrong. I don't want to imply that either. Sure, it might lead to more negative experiences for the viewer and for the creator. But the idea of feeling so strongly connected to that piece of work, that media that person created, and feeling so engaged with it that you could even be like, hey, can you turn off your fan? It's annoying. Like, not necessarily positive, but it's cool that the content is so engaging. That person can even say that to someone. Like, I don't know how to explain this, but I just think of like old TV and how like television and TV shows, it's so detached from the viewer. And there is a pretty large detachment between the viewer and the creator for streaming and for YouTube videos too. I think that like YouTube creators and like streaming also has their like differences, but it's like as the degree of separation, so like real time, like time can give a sense of separation, you know, from the viewer to the video, the entertainment, or whatever, live stream. The cows. So I think streamers especially get this, but like you can talk in the moment with like someone you may admire or look up to, and if you're watching more educational content, you can ask them questions and actively engage. It's almost like a free lecture. If it's entertainment, or if it's like a role model of some sort, you might even like, there are ways that, you know, there's not zero odds that you could like actually engage with that person, that streamer. And then with YouTube, it's a little more removed, but it's not as removed because there's still the comment section, and creators can reply in the comments to their viewers. The comment section, the YouTube comment section is interesting. I feel like some people, they don't post. There's a lot of people who post specifically because they want the viewers, the engagement from the creator. But I feel like a lot of times they want the engagement from other viewers. Like almost like, you know, like debates and stuff. I'm saying this as someone who has been on YouTube since I was 11, so actually I won't say what year that was, just in case I want to maintain some privacy. But it's been a while, and I could probably count on my two hands how many comments I have left. Actually, last year, you can like get your data from YouTube, and I did that, and so I got all the comments that I had ever made on YouTube before, and it was so pathetically small. I kind of wish that I commented more, just so that like I could have like those things from whenever I was younger, but obviously there's benefit. And the reason why I didn't comment is because of anxiety, as you may have guessed. I do not like to be perceived, so why the hell would I ever make a comment? In fact, for a big chunk of time, I could not watch live streams. Like, I can only very recently watch live streams, and even now it disturbs me. I don't like the idea of it being so connected with you. Like I'm a VOD watcher. I watch VODs. I never ever watch lives, even if my favorite streamer is streaming. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. But recently, I had a very lovely moment watching someone live. It was an unarchived stream, so it was like, you know, you gotta watch it then or you're never gonna watch it. And I watched it. It was a karaoke stream with like a guy and a bunch of his friends, and it was beautiful. I bet, like, if they were to hear me say that, they would think I'm crazy or something, because they were just like screaming like Skrillex and Avril Lavigne, you know, Jean Lingerie. And a bunch of anime music, but I got emotional. I watched the stream in its entirety. And I never do that. And I think it's a sign of growth. I also don't play online games for that reason. I do not like talking to people. My anxiety extends to online. It's crazy. So I don't even have online friends, really. Or that's a lie. I have online friends, but they're because I did not go out of my way to get them. I have not genuinely, like, I've made very few genuine online friends. Most of my friends are offline, and we just interact online. And I would love to make some online friends, though. If you're in this video this far, I hope that, you know, maybe you've been burning along with me. Maybe you've been working on another art project, have me playing in the background. Maybe no one will ever listen to this part of the video at all. But if you are, I genuinely hope you can seize the moment that you're in. Currently, look around. Breathe in. How humid is the air? What sort of sensations are happening on the bottom of your feet? In the palms of your hands? I hated stuff like that a year ago. I honestly, as someone who experiences a lot of dissociation, thought that it was a bit dangerous for me to do that. But dissociation is basically the opposite of awareness that I found. And I feel like there was a scenario where it could have been really bad that I started meditating and trying to raise my awareness. But luckily that scenario did not happen. I've been raw dogging recovery alone. Excuse my interesting phrase of word. I use raw dogging way too much as just a word, as a verb. If you saw how I look like and you heard me say that, you would be like, what the fuck? What's little man yapping about? We're gonna get some storms soon. Oh, actually, I still have some leaves to burn. Why didn't you tell me that I was missing some leaves? How could you? I actually erased, and between the two clips I erased the pencil markings. I mean, you can still see them a little. What I do is I erase with like a regular rubber eraser, and then I have this guy, and I scrape the top layer. You can see like a little bit of that, you know. It doesn't, if you go nice and smooth and evenly, there's no divots in the wood. It's just, you're just getting that top layer off, and then there you go. With pyrography, you get pretty interesting in terms of erasing. And to be honest, it's better just to not try. I found if you make a mistake that isn't like pencil markings, it is better to just roll with the mistake than try to correct it, in my experience. Because me trying to correct it basically usually led to catastrophe. Oh, I drew flowers on this side, and I did not draw any flowers on this side. I drew a flower right there, and I drew a flower right there. I'm going to draw one more flower right here. You know what they say? Something, rule of threes. Three of a kind. Always, do 3 things for the best looking art. I think that's what they say anyway. I don't know, I didn't go to art school. Something about rule of thirds, right? Look at that flower. It looks like little squiggles. That's okay. What is a flower if not some squiggles? It's a suggestion of a flower. At the end of the day, the foliage beside the snail is not the main focus. I'm so proud of myself to be able to burn this. Like this shell, I did this completely absent-mindedly, but I think it turned out really nice. And I think that I'm going to definitely, like, I don't think I've ever done anything like that. So I'm gonna do that more often. Like this sort of instead of, I would just make lines that are like connected all the way through and go like that, you know? But instead I went and that's art with Leon. You know, just some of the pro tips. I have a wealth of knowledge I can share that's just like that. If you subscribe. I think now's a good time to tell you the absolutely 0 people who are listening, or if you are listening, you're probably like in a comatose right now and probably like dead at your PC, and like, you know, this is just coincidentally, you know, YouTube has auto played it for you, and so it's playing in the background. Oh my god, what is that noise? Oh, it's a dog. But it sounds like a crocodile hiss. I love crocodiles and alligators. I hope that you like this part. If you aren't in a comatose, which I'm not sure you are. Because this is definitely the best part, isn't it? It's all a fun process if you... I really have to reframe my relationship with photography. My relationship with selling art. Like I said earlier, yesterday, but early in this video, I hate selling art. I think I need to reframe that. There's a lot of people who would die to have the opportunity that I have. And it's the way that I'm thinking, not me inherently as a person, but the way that I'm thinking that is really hindering me. I think. Maybe it is inherent to me. But I think that if I find value within my art, then I will feel like I'm helping people by giving them art, because I will think that my art is something good, something that helps. Maybe even if that help is just to brighten up a corner of their home. Maybe give them a reminder to think about the smaller things. Maybe the help is a little gift that they could give to their friend who really likes snails. Which I know nothing about. I'm definitely not obsessed with snails. That is not me. Couldn't be farther from the truth. And that was sarcasm. I really need to put a new SD card in. I'm just going onto my PC, moving that video file onto my computer, goodness, and then taking it out and then starting to draw again. But I want this to be the last clip until the finished one, where I'm out in the sun and, oh, actually maybe I should show you, I should do a clip of, do you hear that? Storm's rolling in. That blue sky from earlier? Where the heck did it go? I want this to be the final clip. This is such a long video, but I have had a blast, especially today. Yesterday was hell, but I'm proud of myself for what I did, and I'm not going to re-record it. Because you know what? That's me raw, baby. And this video is just a video diary for me, okay? Yeah, I'm not providing the value, like the type of value that I wanted to. But I like what I've created. I think I did a good job for my first time. I thought that I was going to be, you know, something that I could talk about is how I have been trying to get into game mastering. But let me tell you, like, being a game master is a horrifically hard experience if you have anxiety to any degree. Especially if you're not able to really connect with others properly, and you have anxiety. Yeah, and then also have all your players be way more experienced than you in a system that you're not super familiar with. Try doing that. It's fun. It definitely is a lot of pressure. But I wanted to be a part of a tabletop role-playing group so bad. But I don't. It's sort of faded off. I don't think some of the players want to play with me with the way that I GM. I'm brand new. I need a lot of practice, but I understand that time is valuable. And these people are so busy. If they want to roleplay, like, they want to at least, like, have a fun time. And their few spare moments, you know. I tried really hard. And I haven't given up. But it doesn't seem like, at least for D&D, that is not in the cards for them and me. But now that I've started to get more calm, I'm able to think more clearly. And being able to think more clearly means that I can have a working memory. A memory that works. It's crazy. truly. I just lived in a haze all the time. But I can get into that another day. Being attached, doing the silly things like feeling what it feels like for the air circulating the room to hit your skin. To really focus on the little chirps of the birds. To feel every single breath to its fullest. To take a process that's so unconscious. You do not consciously breathe, but then making it conscious, or at the very least, paying attention to it. Because if you pay attention to your breath, then you're essentially paying attention to the moment. What I really needed was someone to logically sit me down and explain why I should ever do meditation, because I just hated the idea of sitting in my own personal hell, which is my thoughts, that are constantly racing because I have anxiety, intense anxiety, all my life. Literally all my life. I had phobias when I was little, a preoccupation with death. We can get into it another day, but I'm so glad that I was watching a video essay on self-help, because you know me in recovery. See, this is how I would have fixed it. And I guess I'm doing it right now. I didn't like the lines, but I knew it once I put this like black in, these lines will look normal. But that also means that I couldn't have an outline there. So I might be able to salvage this, but I don't know if I should record it because I have to use my Dremel. That's another way to erase. Oh, it's way over there. Oh, I can grab this one. I don't want a free promo, so no. But I'm only not promoting them because they give me weird vibes. Maybe they're fine though. But like any sort of like little Dremel, you can, turn it on, it goes, and then you can erase some of your lines to a certain degree. But what it's doing is carving into the wood, so you have to be very careful because, yeah, it'll just make a hole. It's awesome. You can't really put wood back onto the plaque, you know what I'm saying? You can maybe use like wood glue and try, but let's see, what are we working with here? This is a weird angle. Actually, puppies! So, what'd you think? I don't have it on autofocus. I don't even know if this camera can autofocus while in video. It's from, the camera that I'm using is a Rebel T3. So it came out in 2011. It doesn't even have Wi-Fi capabilities. But I say it like it's bad. No, it's great. I love it. I did not expect the audio to be as okay as it is. Maybe I have low standards, but it's good enough for me. So I think that I'm about done. What I'm probably going to do, actually I'll just demonstrate. Well, I still have some recording space left. I'll go in and I'll make some intentional texture. So I'll really push my tool in there and just sort of, see what sort of vibes I want. I really need to replace that word in my vocabulary. I see the word vibes so much. What sort of look? What sort of how I want to express my homosexuality. That's what I'm doing right now. Okay, Should I keep recording? I'll do a little bit more. Just so you can see. This is the fun part. And also be cool if there's more thunder happening. You see how the outline worked? I kind of like it for around the snail. I might go in with my Dremel and clean up those lines a little bit around the snail. And then also deal with that. I don't really like how that looks, but I'm kind of just muddying the foliage right now. That's okay though. I like mud. I'm from the south, I like mud. We love muddy, confusing pictures that you don't really know how to look at. That's my expertise. You can see, now that I'm talking out loud, how much insecurity constantly ran through my mind. Zero confidence in myself. I'm doing so good in terms of my confidence. I would really bash myself in over the head mentally over and over again. And I realized that I'm my friend. It's like, you know, that logical thing where it's like, you know, treat yourself like a friend. And it didn't help me at first, but now that I've started to grasp some concepts that I really needed, I'm starting to get it, and I really am starting to see myself as a friend. As a human. I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. And I didn't even consider myself a perfectionist. But I just couldn't handle. I just couldn't allow myself to have mistakes. I didn't like the idea. That sounds exactly like what a perfectionist would say, but I didn't really feel like one. I could kind of just make things and accept that they're not perfect. But I would beat myself over the head that I did do wrong. But I'd still accept it. So I think that we're about done. I'm going to do any finishing touches off camera. I might be able to record myself spraying on the finish, and then I will do a little video of the final guy. It'll have to be tomorrow, so I won't be uploading tonight. But Saturday. No, I want to upload tonight. I'll figure it out. I'm so bad at showing this off. Well, I think this is about it. Thank you so much if you made it this far. Thanks you, future me, for doing this and sticking it out through and doing all the work and the editing and uploading. It's scary, but we did it. He believes in us. Alright. Bye-bye.